It's always game is game, but the game isn't what it used to be. When people think of lost media, they barely think about video games. Games preservation isn't in the best state right now, so I wanted to highlight what we lost and how games are changing. It's crazy how disposable video games have gotten. You don't own them, you only get access to them, if even. But let's start with a very popular game, Fortress game. Well, you might know it as Fortnite. Back in 2011, Epic Games participated in a game jam. They wanted to make a zombie horror game with tower defense mechanics and Minecraft's crafting system. This was Project Fortress. It was supposed to be a realistic, freaky horror game. Like freaky as in scary, not the other way. But here are the first screenshots from the 2011 build that's now considered lost. So think Last of Us instead of Plants vs. Zombies. But Epic decided to abandon the realistic elements, probably to appeal to little kids. And the reason it's considered lost is that in 2022, an anonymous user who had the 2011 build showed it off. And on top of that, he showed an early version of the trailer, but he didn't share the build. And yeah, Fortnite, as in night, was the title, stupid as that sounds. Then there was the closed test era, which not much exists from this time, but once Epic did a more open test, people were finally able to download it to their own computers through invites. Well, they weren't supposed to share anything, but someone did, so now you can play Fortnite Alpha right now if you want. It's the earliest version available, but it's not that different from the final release. Next, we have a game that you probably don't know, Driver San Francisco. It came out in 2011, developed by Ubisoft, creators of Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, many games that you might know. The only reason I know about it is this super popular and really well made video essay showed it off. He talked about how it was his favorite game when he was younger, but now he can't play it anymore because you legally can't download it. However, this was released on disc, so it could actually be played on the PS3 and Xbox 360. And the guy from the video had to buy a PC key with a Subway gift card. Yeah, it's a banger video. Huh? Oh yeah, this game isn't actually lost media. Just stick with me for a second. It's gonna make sense later. But it's basically abandonware, which is software that isn't sold anymore. The game is actually really good, and its creativity and uniqueness are what set it apart. It has this interesting shift feature where you could transfer into any car in the game and control that person and car instantly. It's the instant part that makes it so unique. It opens up lots of cool gameplay opportunities. It's a typical Ubisoft game with bad writing and acting, but a really cool idea that gets fleshed out really well, and it gets used in interesting and creative ways. Then you realize just the amount of writing that is in this game. Since when you shift, you take control of that person, and the passenger reacts in interesting ways. Ironically, one of Ubisoft's better games can't be played anymore. Probably because the licenses for car brands and the music expired. The game was delisted in 2016. It's really a shame because this game took 5 years to make and you were only really allowed to play it for 5 years. You can really tell the developers cared about this because the way the story intertwined with the gameplay is unlike any game ever. But there was a popular petition that had 165,000 people signing it to bring back Driver San Francisco. And yeah, nothing happened. The game is still gone. The game really deserves a sequel or a remake or even a remaster, but we don't even get to buy it. Next on the list, the unofficial Talking Patrick Star app. It's basically Talking Tom or Talking Ben, but with Patrick. Also on a side note, they had the Spongebob version. This game came out in 2010. But at some point in time, it got lost. Then in 2015, it was remade in 3D with the name Talking Hilarious Patrick Star. But apparently this one sucked. And eventually, the 2010 version was found in 2024. By the end of the year, it was cracked, and the IPA is now on archive.org. It should be playable. I'm not gonna check. It's cool, it's back, I guess. But the last one on the list. The Crew 1, a Ubisoft game, you know, the same publisher as Driver San Francisco. It's a racing game with the gimmick of being able to drive anywhere in the US. That's about it. That's the whole gimmick. I haven't played it because it's lost media. even though it came out in 2014 and it had a physical release, you can't even play the game even if you buy a disc, since it's an online only game, and Ubisoft turned off the servers in December 2024. But the best part is that it had a single player mode where you could play with bots and you could beat the whole prologue offline. And there was a rumored offline mode that Ubisoft made, so the tech for an offline mode is just disabled. The community found an offline boot select screen with local saving and loading. People who've played the game say that most of the game could be a mostly offline experience, but Ubisoft doesn't even let you do that. You just can't play it anymore because of its arbitrary and artificial online checks, basically DRM. I mean, I guess you could buy the Crew 2 until the Crew 3 or 4 comes out, then they might turn it off again. But Ubisoft's reasoning for turning off the server is that its infrastructure is very old and needs updating, and the licensing must be renegotiated. And yeah, these both cost money. But I think the real goal here isn't just to save a quick buck. I think its real goal is getting players used to the idea that they can't play their games whenever they want and show that they don't own them. But gamers didn't like that, which led to the popularization of the Stop Killing Games movement. It's a movement that seeks to protect gamers' consumer rights after publishers deem them to be over or when they decide to discontinue them. Damn, I sound kind of smart right there, pulling out the vocab word. But its detractors ironically made it more popular, and they misrepresent the petition as being vague and impossible for devs to implement. But its vagueness is to allow the creativity of devs to decide how the game should end. And it's not impossible, since a game like The Crew already had a playable single-player experience. But the vagueness of the petition doesn't force them to do it exactly like that. Then again, I didn't work at Blizzard, so what do I know? But the Stop Killing Games petition has reached its goal of 1.4 million votes, and the European Commission should respond publicly if everything goes well. Now, there's a chance that all this leads to nothing, but we'll always have a community dedicated to finding lost media, since people are always trying to find lost media, since fans of The Crew are building emulated servers to make the game playable. So yeah, the lost media community is goated. From finding nonsense Patrick Star games to building emulated servers for The Crew. It's not finished yet, but they're trying. But hopefully the future of lost media games gets found or is never lost in the first place. But that's the video. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like the video,